What's going on, guys? Cody Marchant from HeinzZeke.com here bringing you the Week 11 NFL First Look lineup. And I'm really happy to do this for you guys. We got a cool slate, 10 teams. We can jump right into it. As always, we're going to run right alongside my article on HeinzZeke.com, DFS Bargains Week 11. As always, I give you all my favorite plays at each position, who I think the value is. I even give you projections for them, and at the bottom of the article, I give you an entire sample lineup to use if you want. So I really put a lot of work into this, guys. It's always great when you read the article alongside it. Let's get right into this video. Before we do, please do me a favor and drop a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let's get into it. Before we do, the first thing you see is Drew Brees is the highest salaried quarterback on this slate. And there's a reason, guys. Cue the sad music. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are not on this slate. Neither are the LA Rams. But that's alright, guys. That's going to be a great Monday night game. Can't wait to do a video for you guys with that slate. I'm pumped to see it. They just officially moved it from Mexico to LA. There's going to be really bad conditions in that game. So it's in LA. Home game for the Rams. So I don't know what that means. Kind of shitty for all the people that had tickets to that Mexico City game. You guys are about to get the best game of the season. I'm not trying to rub it in. It's good for the players. No one wants to get hurt. Two of the best teams in the league. Their safety is more important than the money that, Their teams, the players are the product of the entire business, You can't risk them getting hurt just to play one game in Mexico. Let's get right into quarterbacks, guys. Jumping right into it. Like I said, Drew Brees is the most expensive player on this slate, and it's for good reason. I tweeted this stat earlier because it blew my mind. 77% completion, 21 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Drew Brees is balling. 150 passer rating, 137, 115, 120, 100. Wow, he has just been a freak show, guys. 124 average quarterback rating. He is going off 6,500 at home in the Dome against Philadelphia, who is absolutely decimated with Ronald Darby, their star corner, going down with torn ACL. Jalen Mills, I believe, is out. I think it's going to be Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas starting in corners for them, which could be a really long day because you got to cover Michael Thomas. That's not going to be fun. Drew Brees at 6,500, I like. This slate in general has all the quarterbacks bunched together. So one of my favorite values at 5,700 is Deshaun Watson. But Drew Brees is only 800 more. So if you like Drew Brees, go get your guy. Play your quarterback that you like this week. There's no right or wrong way at quarterback. I will tell you the guys I'm leaning and who I think brings more value. But Matt Ryan, 6,100, that's a good matchup. Andrew Luck at 5,900, he can beat that. Deshaun Watson at 5,700. Cam Newton at 62. I don't even want to go through quarterbacks, guys, because they're all good. My three favorite are Drew Brees, Cam Newton, and Deshaun Watson. But pick who you want to play. The only thing I will say about quarterbacks is this will be chalk if Joe Flacco doesn't play this week. But Lamar Jackson against what could be an historically bad defense in Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson is a freakish athlete. He is such a good player. I would love to see him get in there at quarterback. I want to see what he has to offer the NFL. I think it's time. I'm not wishing anything bad on Joe Flacco, but if he does sit and the Ravens go Lamar Jackson, I think he will be chalk because there's so many good matchups this week at running back and wide receiver that I'm trying to save anywhere I can and save to an extreme level so that I can go up and get those top guys. If I can pay $4,700 for a good quarterback against a bad defense, that's going to be pretty chalky. I would love Lamar Jackson to be my starting quarterback on this slate. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to plug in Deshaun Watson. I love him off the bye. He's really clicking with his receivers. He's got super high upside just from his rushing ability. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. The Washington secondary has been really bad lately. 5,700, I think he's just too cheap. At defense, usually I like some guys down here at this 2K range, 2,500, whatever. I like saving a lot on defense. Like I said, guys, this is a first look. But when I do my first look lineups, I try to give you a little bit more research than what you're used to on a first look lineup. That's why I completely do this article out for you. I break down even home road splits for Drew Brees. Like, I go a little bit over the top for you guys so I can give you the best product possible. We've been winning the last couple weeks, 4 weeks in a row on Draftkings for a reason. All the guys that have been DMing me that have used these lineups are winning because of the extra time I'm putting into. I'm not making any money off of my blog posts, off YouTube. I'm not making any money doing it. I'm just having a blast doing it. I'm becoming a much better player, and I'm helping people make money. So, like, I'm doing it anyway. All I ask is that you guys like the video and read the article that goes along with it. Appreciate it. Like I said, there's not anyone super cheap at defense that I like. I like these 3 teams at this 2,800, 29, 3,100 level. There's no one really at the top I like. Chargers versus Denver and Ravens versus Cincy. They're like, eh. My favorite play might be the Steelers versus Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. They're getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback right now. 15 points last week. Yeah, 3, but that's in Baltimore. 7 at home. 3 at Cincy. They're much better at home because, look, at home again than they are on the road. And they are on the road, but it's Jacksonville. It's Blake Bortles. They've been playing better as of late, so I like the Steelers at 29. I like the Panthers against Detroit. They gave up 10 sacks 2 weeks ago to the Vikings. They didn't do too much better last week. And I think that they're going to come back from that big loss and be really hungry and just destroy Detroit this week. But Cardinals at 3,100, I don't like spending up at defense, but they can turn over the ball. They can pressure the quarterback. And they're playing at home against Derek Carr. This team has mailed it in. Jordy Nelson just retired, I'm pretty sure. They got Doug Martin as their starting running back. They got Brandon LaFell as like their number 1 receiver right now, guys. They're not going to put up 24 points in your defense. They're not going to protect the ball. Derek Carr loves throwing it max 5 yards down the field. I like the Cardinals. I like Chandler Jones rushing Derek Carr, giving him a long day. But to save a little bit of money right now, we'll go with the Panthers against that really bad offensive line of Detroit. Tight end. There is but one option this week that you will play at tight end if you want to win money. Just like there was last week when I said that Eric Ebron at 3,500 makes no sense when he's leading the league in touchdown receptions. Why is he 3,500? At 3,500, you need a tight end to fall in the end zone. Who could fall in the end zone better than Eric Ebron this year? It wasn't close. I played him in every lineup. That was the difference between most of my lineups. Him and Mark Ingram. Just ball. This week, I think there's just as big of a slam dunk in a little bit different of a direction. It is Zach Ertz. Yo, Travis Kelce, I'm really happy for you. I'll let you finish. But Zach Ertz is having one of the best tight end seasons of all time. All right, guys? Ertz is on a ridiculous pace for 133 catches, 1,400 yards, which the 133 catches is only 10 behind Marvin Harrison's record of 143. Not tight end only. That's any pass catcher. He put up, 45 points yesterday? Or Sunday night? He put up 43.5 points, guys. 16 targets, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 catches. Like, he's a top tier wide receiver 1 for 6,600. Let's go through some of these wide receivers that are 6,600 and pull up like their stats next to his. Let's go Juju at 6,800, even more expensive. 1914 723. 1914 723. Zach Ertz. Better than that just last week. 12 26 17. 30 24, guys. He is a better than a wide receiver 1 as a tight end. One of the things I probably will end up doing in this lineup, guys, which is super unorthodox for me, I'm going to go to flex, see 6,600, and plug Zach Ertz into my flex. He's just super high value right there, and I think that's where I want to go. I'll show you why, because there's one other tight end that I do like that I think is really good value. There's 2 tight ends I like. I'll show you my third favorite tight end right now, which is Jordan Reed. I mean, the cheapest he's been all year. I haven't played him one time this year, but that's because he's been in this 5K range. Like, he hasn't been worth in the 5K range. But he's got 24 targets in the last 3 weeks, I cannot get this piece of hair out of my eye. He has 24 targets in the last 3 weeks. He's playing against a pretty bad team against the tight end. They have pass catchers that are hurt. He had his best yards per catch average last week in a long time. Only 9 points, but at 3,800, he doesn't need to do too much better than that to hit value. If he's in between the 6 and 12, he gets 9 targets for 3,800. Like, there's not a lot of tight ends that can do that. A little bit better, though, for 900 cheaper than that is Ricky. Tricky Ricky Seals-Jones, guys. 2,900. 9 targets last week. 4, 4, 6, 5, 5, 4. Like, he's been consistently in that 4 to 5 to 6 range. But he hit that 9 number last week. I don't think that's going to be consistent. But in this new offense with Byron Leftwich, I think it can be close. I think he can be 6 to 7 instead of 4 to 5. I don't think it's going to be 9. 6 to 7 targets at 2,900, I think is a really good value on a perfect matchup against Oakland at home. I love how the offense is looking. I think this is a really big spot for Josh Rosen. I think that they know it. They want to put David Johnson's been killing it. Why not? They've been rolling a little bit. Get your your young quarterback some confidence. Go beat up on Oakland at home and throw the ball a ton, run the ball a ton, put up some points. I'm going to run with 2 tight ends in this lineup, guys. Ricky Seals at tight end, Zach Ertz at flex. We're feeling a little different right now. Let's see how this looks. We'll see. Let's go over to running back, guys. There's 2.5 values that I really like. I like Mark Ingram again. Big shocker because he put up 28 points last week. It went from 4,500 to 4,700. Makes sense, right? Averaging still 16 touches per game in the entire season on the second best offense in the league at home. Drew Brees quarterback, they know how to get him the ball. He's a talented player. He's 4,700. Please explain that to me because I don't understand it. I understand that Alvin Kamara's there, but he's averaging 19 touches. Mark Ingram's averaging 16 touches. 16 touches for 4,700 in this offense is extremely valuable. My other favorite value at running back is definitely Dion Lewis. He kind of missed last week, and he was super chalky, and I didn't have him last week. But this week, I think he's a little bit better of a play. The last 3 games, 19 touches, 23 touches, 22 touches. For 4,800, I'm going to get 20-plus touches. That doesn't make much sense to me. Against Indianapolis, just gave up 2 touchdowns to Leonard Fournette. Not that great yards per carry, but neither has Dion Lewis lately, but his talent is going to be there. I think that at 4,800, this is a really good pick. The money-wise, he hasn't seemed to end up in my final lineups lately on this slate, but I think that he should be, and I'll figure out more towards the rest of the week, but I think at 4,800, Dion's a great play. The last one, I said 2.5. It's because those are 2, and then the half is Alex Collins at 4,400. Like I was talking about that Cincinnati team, I like Alex Collins a lot more if Lamar Jackson's starting compared to Joe Flacco. I think that they're going to take plenty of pressure off Lamar Jackson and hand the ball off more towards this 19 times a game instead of this 9 if it is Lamar Jackson. I think that Lamar Jackson makes Alex Collins a more efficient runner, gives the defense more to worry about. Those run-pass options are going to be really big. This is more of a volume and matchup play and price, not really the talent. But when you need price, when you need some salary, I think Alex Collins is fine. First thing I'm going to do is plug in Mark Ingram because I just need him on my team. Let's go up to the studs this week, guys. I was telling you that I want to save at places because there are some studs at running back and some studs at receivers that have great matchups and good prices. Melvin Gordon, great matchup, great player. My fantasy MVP. You can have Todd Gurley. I'll take Melvin Gordon all day. 27, 22, 38, 22, 33. 27.7 points a game. He is an absolute stud, and they won't even give him the ball 20 times a game because he doesn't need to. But with his pass catching, he's in that 20 to 25 touches a game range. On a great offense, stud, absolute stud. I love the offensive line. Loved Melvin Gordon last week. I'm probably going to be off him this week against Denver because I like a couple people more. But he's a stud. Nothing wrong with going Melvin Gordon. Saquon, same thing. First game with under 20 points. He didn't really look like himself. He's never really been efficient in the running game except for this one game against Philadelphia. And then he busted one run against Jacksonville. That's not really what's done it. But the reason his points were down is because he's been having these wide receiver 1 type numbers with 10 targets in 3 games in a row. And he only had 5, and he only took them for 33 yards, which, he's playing Tampa Bay. And talk about a bounce back game, perfect salary, perfect team that just can't stop anything. I think Saquon's a great play. He is going to be one of those guys where I'm going to pivot off of him because I think he's going to be really highly owned. I think that I can get an advantage saving 1,000, saving 500 on a couple players, which I'll show you. And I think that they're a little bit less owned. I think they have the same upside with a similar floor. So I think that Saquon's a good pick. I'm going to pivot off him. I might be wrong about this, guys. This is one of those things in the recap next week where I'm going to want to go over, see how he did. But I'm going to be pivoting off of Saquon this week. I'm not fading Saquon. I'm just talking about in cash. I only make 1 or 2 lineups, and I don't think that he fits into my lineup that I want to build this week. Zeke, what a great matchup that he has, guys. I've said this for a long time, the number 1 rushing running back in the league, I think, is Ezekiel Elliott. I think he runs so hard. He's so decisive. He's so tough to tackle. I think that Zeke is the best running back in the NFL. The Falcons can't really stop running backs right now. Nick Chubb just killed them. They can't stop pass-catching running backs, and look at him. He's catching the ball now. That's never been Zeke's strong suit. Even though he's good at it, they just don't really use him that way. But if he's getting this plus this, at 8,500, that's a steal. I think I'm going to be pivoting off Zeke too. That might be a mistake, guys. I'm not suggesting that you guys pivot off Zeke. I'm doing it for myself. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I'll get more clarity as the week goes on. I'll be pivoting off Zeke. Let me know if you guys think that's a mistake. One of the guys I'm going to be pivoting off to is probably Alvin Kamara. Not in this lineup with Mark Ingram. But I remember this game when Mark Ingram came back and Alvin Kamara had 6 points. And everyone was like, hey, is he done? Is he going to be a beast anymore? I mean, he was getting 44 points, 37 points a game before that. Is he okay? And then after the bye, all he's done is average 19.5 touches a game and scored 8 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. He's averaging 2 touchdowns a game and almost 20 touches. Alvin Kamara might be the most efficient, one of the most effective running backs that we have in the NFL. It doesn't matter if he gets 20 touches. He doesn't need them. He can take 12 touches for 2 touchdowns. He can take 5 targets, catch 4 of them. He can take 8 targets, catch 7 of them. Go to Atlanta. He can take 20 targets, catch 15 of them, guys. Alvin Kamara is unlike anything we've ever seen in the NFL. I love saving 500 from going from Saquon to Kamara. And I don't know. We're going to see if I want to go Kamara, Dion Lewis, or David Johnson, Mark Ingram. That's probably what I'm looking at right now. Kamara, CMC, another one of those guys that I'm pivoting off of. I think he's going to have a good week. He's been killing it, and I don't think Detroit can stop him. Just again, I'm going to be pivoting off him because I like guys like David Johnson better. Got Byron Leftwich back. We're back to that Bruce Arians offense. We're at home. We're playing Oakland. We're David Johnson talented. I love David Johnson this week. He had, 183 total yards last week, 2 touchdowns, 9 targets. Come on, at 7,500, you get the upside of Saquon. You get the upside of Zeke for 1,200 less. You might have a little bit lower of a floor just because the offense isn't as talented, but I'm not really too concerned about that, guys. Let me just talk about a couple more guys I like. I like Keenan Allen at his price. I love Alshon Jeffrey at his price at 6,300 against New Orleans. I think that's a steal. I don't think I've been able to fit him in a lot of my lineups. T.Y. Hilton can do big things against. Depends on who he's covered by. I like Adoree Jackson in coverage. I think he's good. And they gave him to Josh Gordon last week, which was smart. But if Malcolm Butler decides that he wants to take a shot at T.Y., that's going to be a big day there. I'm not chasing Corey Davis. You can if you'd want. Golden Tate, I don't hate at 5,500. Amari Cooper, I like against Atlanta for 5,400. But the reason I like Amari Cooper is the same reasons that I like, all the way down here, Cole Beasley. Have not used him yet this season. There's a couple of guys I'm going to be able to get in my lineup this week that I've never used this season. I wrote up about Cole Beasley, why I liked him, right? Let me tell you why, because it's kind of confusing why I'd be having Cole Beasley in my lineup. Beasley's taking on Brian Poole this week, the slot corner for Atlanta. Atlanta is giving up a season high 109 yards per game to slot receivers. That's bad. But not only that, the Dallas passing attack has actually improved a lot since Amari Cooper came to this offense. You would think that, I get it, he's taking like almost 10 targets a game away. That could be going Beasley's way. But they're becoming a better offense. Dax looked better. Zeke's got more space. Their offense is clicking more overall. And they're in Atlanta, and that dome has just seen so many track meets this year. With that defense, that offense, I think this is a great situation for Cole Beasley at 4,400. He reminds me of Humphreys and Maurice Harris that I had last week of, high floor, really valuable slot targets, but higher floor, higher upside. I love Cole Beasley at 4,400. And one more, guys, I might switch off one running back because I want to show you something cool that we can do. All the way down here, we have Adam Humphreys again. I used him last week. He burned me too. But it was his word. Look, 9 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets. He's been averaging 9 targets a game in the 3 games before that. And he had 3 targets. And it was just a fluke game. That whole offense, something weird happened. I swear, guys. I don't know what it was. But something was going on in Tampa. They put up 400 yards of offense. Mike Evans didn't do good. Humphreys didn't do good. Jaquiz Rogers had 102 yards. I don't know what it was. But this was just a weird game. But one of the things I've noticed is that he had a catch at 29 and a catch at 30 in the last 2 weeks. They're not all just these short passes. I like Adam Humphreys because I liked how San Francisco was getting the ball out quick, attacking this New York team with their linebackers, their slot corners. I think, and their safety. So I like Adam Humphreys at 3,800. And that's going to allow us to do some cool stuff. So I want to show you an example of what that cool stuff is. Because I love these receivers at the top when it comes to value. I think that Michael Thomas will smash value at 8,800. He has Rasul Douglas covering him. Are you serious, guys? Play Michael Thomas. Julio's been a beast, but I don't want Julio this week. Dallas is better than you think. Odell is an absolute smash spot against Tampa Bay. I kind of want Odell, but I want to see what else I can get because there's 2 other guys that I love this week. And that's Hopkins and Antonio Brown. Hopkins at 7,900 is not fair. And Antonio Brown at 7,800, guys, are you serious? Do you know that in 8 out of 9 games this season, Antonio Brown has caught a touchdown? There's only been 1 game where he doesn't have a touchdown all season. I understand that it's Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's not themselves this year. And last year, Antonio Brown still burned them for like 150 yards. Antonio Brown is the most matchup-proof player in the entire league. Give me Antonio Brown at 7,800, and then if I don't want to pivot off Zeke because I said it was a mistake anyway, I can get all the way up to Zeke. So I can get Zeke, David Johnson, Antonio Brown, and Zach Ertz all in my lineup if I wanted to. Right. So that's what you get if you go Humphreys in this lineup. Say we stick with Ingram and we pivot off of Humphreys. We get 76. What if we do it the other way? What if we stick with Humphreys and we pivot off of Beasley and we get 8,200 for... Dang, we can't get up to Odell like I wanted to. How do we get up to Odell? How do we get up to Odell? Alex Collins? Alex Collins? And I only like Alex Collins if we got Lamar Jackson in there, guys. So what if I got Lamar Jackson in there? Then I have 1,100 more. And I can... What else can I do? What else can I do? 5,500 running back. I don't like anything in that range. Let me go back. Let me go back to Ingram. Nope. We're just don't worry about that, guys. We're gonna go back to Collins and Deshaun Watson. Where are you? And we're gonna move up to the defense that I liked a little bit more in the Steelers. So guys, that's a really cool lineup. I kind of like that with Antonio Odell, David Johnson, Zach Ertz, Deshaun Watson, Alex Collins, Adam Humphries, Ricky Seals, and the Steelers defense. Let me just quickly show you one with doing something a little bit different here, where instead of Ertz at the flex, I'll put him in tight end, wide receiver. Let me go back to Beasley. I love Beasley this week. Instead of Collins, let me go to Ingram just because I like him a lot more. For flex running back, who do we want between... Nope, just kidding. Let's go Collins so we can get Kamara. I don't want both Ingram and Kamara in the lineup. In wide receiver, 6,500. I don't like 6,500 receivers. I already know the range. But I do like Alshon, and I do like the Cardinals the best at 3,100. So those are the two lineups, guys. And this one I'll have Deshaun Watson, Alex Collins, David Johnson, Adam Humphries, Cole Beasley, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, Alvin Kamara, Cardinals defense. If you made it this far through, guys, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. You know, I put in a lot of effort in these articles over here, guys. I do, like I said, it's this first look lineups, but I do a complete lineup for you. I do this video. I put out 5 videos a week. I'm not getting paid on YouTube. I'm not getting paid on my blog. I'm not doing any advertisement. I'm only doing this because I'm enjoying it. It's making me a better daily fantasy player. You know, we've won 4 weeks in a row. We have people DMing me right now, using my lineups, asking me questions, and also winning money. That's what I do it for, guys. So please do me a favor and help me try to build this channel a little bit. Like the channel, like the video, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitter. Let's do it all. Let's win that money, guys.